It's feared that the scale of Mohamed Al-Fayed, the former owner of the Harrods store and Fulham Football Club and other businesses, the scale of his sexual abuse could be similar to that of Jimmy Savile, the newly appointed survivor's advocate, saying this. There's been a torrent of allegations against the businessman since a BBC documentary back in September broadcast the claims of 20 women. Let's bring into the conversation the person who's made these suggestions, Dame Jasvinder Sanghera, who is a human rights campaigner and newly appointed survivor's advocate for the Harrods story, and joins me now. Just if we can really take this back to the beginning, if we may, Dame Jasvinder, what is exactly precisely your role as the survivor's advocate? I think it might interest my listeners. Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Yes, my role is specifically to ensure that all those survivors, victims out there who have come forward or who are yet to come forward are accessing the process, and it is trauma informed. So, for example, what we have is Harrods have responded by ensuring that there is a process for compensation, that there will be no NDAs attached to the settlement processes. It's open, it's transparent, it's fair. All survivors will have a choice of lawyer that will be funded for by Harrods, and there is therapeutic support as well. But equally, I know that for survivors out there, this is not just about compensation, it's about change. So, if we need to have assurances that changes happen, survivors will say, I've reported for a reason, and that is because I want change. I want something to change. I never want this to happen to anybody else ever again. Well, that's about accountability. So, the internal process at Harrods in terms of the internal reviews, ensuring that things have changed, will be something that I will be communicating. And also, if survivors feel that the process is not working, it's not fair, things need improving, then I will be their voice. And I do want to say that being an independent person in this process means that survivors have access to me. If they want to contact me directly, they can, to have conversations, and they're already coming forward to speak with me now.
How can they get in touch with you, Dame Jasvinder?
So it's the email address. It's contact@survivor.co.uk. So
we'll put that on our website. Do go on. So if we come to what you were saying yesterday,
sure.
You'll be aware there will never be a specific figure for the Savile abuse, but in 2012, the Metropolitan Police said they believed it was in the order of around 450 victims, somewhere in that scale. You're saying this could be the same you fear at Harrods?
Absolutely. What we know is, the abuse did not just take place with Harrods employees. Already, we're recognising the breadth of the abuse is far and wide. The abuse took place in other places as well. And I did mention that, I've heard from members of the deaf community that attended schools. There are various places it could have taken place on the Harrods estate, etc. So, we've yet to hear, I believe, from survivors in terms of it being beyond Harrods employees. So that potentially could be in its hundreds. And, to date, there have been 290 survivors in the process. However, I'm mindful of the fact that when you think about abuse and the courage it takes to report abuse, there are going to be many people out there who've yet to report. So it's underreported right now, I would believe, in my experience of supporting victims and survivors.
Lastly, if I can, I'll take you back to something you said to me earlier. You're also interested in change. What processes need to be changed, and in what fashion do you think in this area?
Well, I think all corporate organisations out there and institutions out there need to be having a conversation about improving their own practices and ensuring that they're absolutely assured this is not happening in their organisations. As I said, don't wait for something to happen, change things. Encourage reporting within your organisations, etc. So from a Harrods perspective, they are having an internal review currently of all their processes. So it's important that we see the effect of that and the outcome of that. But what I will say is that organisations out there, do not be complacent. Don't wait for something to happen. I was somebody that reported sexual harassment and bullying to the House of Lords in 2018. There wasn't a process at that time. They didn't know what to do with me. Things have changed now, but ultimately that was always happening, is what I'm saying.
Okay. I'm grateful for your time. Good luck with all the efforts you'll bring to your role as the survivor's advocate for the Harrods scandal, Dame Jasvinder Sanghera. That address, by the way, if you want to get involved, will be on the LBC website.